South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Hey, good morning, folks. It is a Friday, the first Friday before, or the last Friday before Christmas, and it is Friday the 20th, which means kind of history, college football playoff, 12 teams, first day tonight, the first game, Indiana versus Notre Dame. How exciting, amazing, 2 teams, very close in proximity, same state, they're on opposite ends of the state, but big universities, and they started playing in 1898, 126 years ago. But amazing, they've only played 29 times, and they've only played once in the last 66 years. One time. That's just simply amazing. And I'm sure the Indiana athletic director picks up the phone every year and calls Notre Dame and says, would you guys like to play football next year? No, sorry, we don't have any room in our schedule. They don't want to play Indiana. They're recruiting against Indiana, same state. So this is the Hoosiers' opportunity. This is their opportunity in football. Kirk Cignetti and his team. It's Notre Dame's opportunity, obviously, to have a big night. It snowed overnight there like crazy. I believe it's still snowing. My friend Joe Atkins sent me a live picture just a little while ago with the snow, and you could see a snowman. They're building snowmen everywhere. That's how much snow there is there in Notre Dame. But the snow will stop, and it'll be a little windy, 10 to 15 mile an hour winds tonight, 30 degrees at kickoff, and throughout most of the game, the temperature is going to kind of just like stall at 30. It's going to feel like 20. For these football guys running around, it's going to be cold. They're going to have heaters. They're going to have glove warmers. My question is, how conservative do the coaches get, or do they stay aggressive? We'll see. We'll see how that happens and how that game, turns out. There's no panic by the bettors. They're not betting it under. It's not an avalanche of money to the under. A lot of times when you see snow, you'll see that avalanche of money start to come in under, and everybody bets it under. And then the followers bet it under. This total is held steady, 51 at the South Point, open 50.5. So very interesting. I'll start with that game. There'll be 3 games tomorrow. I'm going to cover those 3 games tomorrow on my show, Bet the Gambit, if you'd like to tune in 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I'll break down some of those games. I'll break down all 3 of those games. So let me get my notes here for this Indiana game. Signetti came from James Madison, who's always been a really good football program. He went 52-9 while at James Madison. That was at the Division I FBS level. They moved up from FCS to FBS, and they have been for a while. I don't know if Kirk Signetti was that guy. I can't remember how long it's been, but he did a really good job there. And at Indiana, obviously, what has he done this year? 9-3 ATS, 1 loss on the year. They have tremendous season by the Hoosiers. Get a really good quarterback, Curtis Rourke, transfer from Ohio University, comes over from the MAC. He has been great all year. 70% completions, 9.9 yards a pass. It's rounded off. 10 yards every pass. Every pass he throws is 10 yards. 27 TDs, just 4 interceptions. He's taking care of the football. He loves the offense Kirk Signetti's put together. There's a high-flying attack. Median score, 14-42. I'm sorry. I said that backwards. I don't know how. 42-14. 42-14, the Hoosiers. On the road this year, 42-19. That's the top 4 teams they played on the road. They've played a slightly better schedule than Notre Dame has. A 108, where Notre Dame's played average team is a 107. There's the stats from the 2 quarterbacks. And if I just told you the stats and we covered up the names, you're going to say I'm going to take the guy on the left because he's 74% completions. 263 passing yards is his median per game. I told you about the 9.9 yards an attempt and the 27-4. His median is 2 touchdowns per game, no interceptions. Riley Leonard is a dual threat quarterback, and he has run for 721 yards this year for Notre Dame. 163 yards per game. That's his median. If you add those two together, I think he's somewhere at about 223 yards. Curtis Rourke, 263, just passing alone. He not a running quarterback, though. Riley Leonard, 7.1 yards an attempt, 16 touchdowns, 5 INTs. His average, his median actually has come out to 2 touchdowns per game. So even though he hasn't thrown quite as many, when he does throw a touchdown, he usually throws 2. Other than that, he throws 0. I think he's probably 8 games. He's probably thrown 2 touchdowns. And then the other 4 games had not thrown 1. So interesting quarterback battle, 2 experienced quarterbacks. Remember, Riley Leonard was a transfer from Duke, another ACC quarterback that transferred into Notre Dame. And can't think of his name, quarterback from Wake Forest last year. His first name was Sam, transferred into Notre Dame and was a seriously good quarterback. I thought he was better than Riley Leonard, but Leonard left Duke after his coach headed to Texas A&M. Surprising that he didn't follow, but he went to Notre Dame, and here he is playing in the national championship. So he made a great move. Looking at these 2 teams, and again, Indiana on the year, 42-14 is their median score. Notre Dame, identical, 42-14. 42-14. Something just started. Hit the wrong button. Mute. At home, 35-14. Got a little less. Their home games. I took their best home games this year. The best teams that they've played this year, 3 really good football teams. Notre Dame has played 3 really good football teams. Texas A&M on the road makes it more impressive. They win that game 23-13. And then home against Louisville, they won 31-24. And then away at USC, 49-35. They were very fortunate in that game. They did play well. They played well against USC. On the year, their performance rating, 123.3. At home, it's only been a 116.5. And I've kind of felt that way with Marcus Freeman, that he showed that in his first couple of years of playing to the level of the competition. And in 2024, he opens the season with a win at Texas A&M, 23-13, and then he loses the following week. There it is, right on the screen. Loses to Northern Illinois, 16-14. Rebounds by destroying Purdue, 66-7. beats Miami of Ohio, beats Louisville at home, beats Stanford, and then they go on a spread run. They're covering against everybody, wins at Georgia Tech, beats Navy on a neutral. And that's a bigger game than it normally would be because Navy had such a good record this year. Beats Florida State, beats Virginia at home, and then they play Army, who had a great record as well, undefeated, and they beat them 49-14. Then they go to Southern Cal. Kind of motivating schedule, I guess, for them. This will be another motivating game. I've got them a 124 rating, and as I said, they've played out to a 123.5. I have Indiana now a 120. Their performance rating 118.5. But interesting how Notre Dame has played below their rating at home. Indiana has played above their rating on the road. A 122 performance rating in their 4 road games. That was at UCLA, at Northwestern, at Michigan State, and at Ohio State. And Ohio State was the worst performance of all. This is a team that only lost the turnover battle once this year, and that was against Maryland, and they were -4. You'd think they lost the game. They won 42-28. I had Maryland that day. Can't believe I didn't cover. That's amazing. They lost the turnover battle by 4. That was one of their best efforts of the year, actually, to lose that type of battle and still dominate the game, 42-28. So my numbers on this game, again, I made Notre Dame 8. I'm giving a revenge factor for that simple reason of these teams have only played once in the last 66 years, and Notre Dame won that game. It's amazing. It was 33 years ago that these two teams played in 1991, and Notre Dame won at South Bend 49-27. The previous time before that they played was 33 years before that. Just simply amazing that they've gone that far in between playing each other. I think it's going to be a close game. These two are rivals. This is the biggest game for Indiana's the program history of their football program. Notre Dame's had many. They've won national championships. So for them, they kind of feel like this is where they're supposed to be. Maybe sometimes you take it for granted. But these are all new kids that have never been there, never played in this. So it's going to be a great game. I think Curtis Rourke is the difference maker for Indiana. I really do. I'm going to say Kirk Siganetti gets my check mark as the better football coach. His 5 years at James Madison, and he was 2 years at Elon before he got the James Madison job, and he turned that program around right away. James Madison noticed what happened there and said, we want to hire you as our coach. So that's how he ended up at James Madison. Indiana saw what he was doing for the Dukes, and they said, you're going to be our guy, 62 or 63 years old, hired as the head coach of Indiana, and he's doing very, very well. So team rankings real quick. Indiana offense 11, defense 21, overall 12th best team in the country. Notre Dame 8th best offense, 3rd best defense. They do have an advantage defensively, and 7th best as a team, a 124 rating. So I have a 9.5 point difference in this game when I add home field. But again, I take off 20% of my favorite. I'm down to 8. I got the revenge factor for Indiana, never getting a chance to play this game, and I made game 5.5. I took 7. My total 52.5 is right there. So I'm going in with Indiana plus the 7, I think, on the screen looking there, down to 6.5 now at the South Point. This number pretty much now 6.5 across the board. Very few, if far in between, any 7s. I think you're kind of taking the worst of it now. If you didn't get the 7, I would pass. Wait till the game starts. See how it starts. If Notre Dame scores first, don't panic. Do not panic. Indiana's a very good team. Very good team. I was impressed with this team when I rated them out at the beginning of the year. And when I lost against them, when I bet Maryland, I said, what am I doing? I love this Indiana team when I rated them out. So make some adjustments and make them even higher so you don't bet against them again. And that's what I did. I haven't bet against them all year since that point. Let's go to the NBA. 3 games in the association tonight. A couple teams playing back-to-back. Only 6 teams, 2 of them are playing back-to-back. Charlotte and Philadelphia tonight. The Hornets are playing back-to-back. I took that off into consideration. I made the Sixers 12 and 2, 11.5. Joel Embiid will be back. He is probable. I have him in the lineup. Ball has been back for Charlotte. He's a scorer. I've tried to upgrade this total on these two teams, but I could still only make it to 11.5. The opener with the Circa was 221, and they bet that down strong, down to 215. South Point opened 215. Where's that at? I don't have the South Point number. Looks like it didn't come in correctly to the Spank Odds screen. So I do not have their opener, but I have their current right there on the screen. Sixers 11, 215.5. Slight lean to the under, but again, you've lost a ton of value. I would pass. I don't think there's anything in this basketball game other than maybe if they start out hot and that number goes up and it goes into the 220s, and I would suggest betting it under then. Both teams have been below average in scoring. Charlotte 106.1 and Philadelphia 105.1. Offensively, efficiency, both well below average. Pace-wise, both well below average. It's, to me, even my cross-reference from offense, defensive pace comes out to 215. It comes right out on the total. But I think it's, for me, I think 211.5 is a much better number. The Bucks are at the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. There's no Lillard. Dame is out. I think he must have played injured against OKC in the championship, but he played through that. When he could, he did. I'm looking at Cleveland, and I've got Mobley the wrong. I've got him out, and he's not. He's playing. So I need to upgrade that on my sheet. 108.5 would be a 2-point difference. I'd have Cleveland 8.5 in this game. I don't know how the Bucks feel being an underdog this big. They're just coming off the win. This is their first game since they won the Commissioner's Cup. I thought they'd kind of have a letdown. I was hoping they'd be a favorite, but being a dog, maybe they step up. But I still think this game's about 8.5. It opened 8 at the South Point, bet up to 9. You see on the screen there, the total 221. That total's bounced around a little bit. It started a lot higher, 225 at the South Point, and it's been bet down. I made it 216. I like the under right now, though, at 221. Again, we lost a lot of value. I'm just going to pass. Maybe another game that you watch, and if they start scoring in this total, they score a bunch early, it could be something you jump in game and get a better number. OKC at Miami. OKC did play last night against Orlando and made the adjustment there. I made the Miami Heat 1.5 and 212. This total opened up 215. Has been bet up to 217. So it's been bet up to the range I need, a 5-point difference for a play. But again, I don't like betting against the money. Somebody has an idea, they like it over. So I really feel like those games are kind of coin flip games for me. If this total, again, in game, they score a bunch early, I could take a look at the under during in game. So all three, I'm looking maybe at fast starts if they do to go under. The Miami Heat this year, wanted to look at their over and unders. 13 overs, 10 unders. Eric Spoelstra's team has always been a good under team. I've lost several times betting under with them this year. I'm tired of it. Don't want to do it again. But Oklahoma City's been good because their defense is so solid, one of the best in the league. They only allow 103 points a game. They're 15 and 11 to the under, but I'll pass and wait to see what happens there. So all three NBA games, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait and see. And if they score a lot early, I may not even be able to watch them. We're smoking beef brisket tonight, 27 hours. We'll see how that comes out. NHL, here we go. St. Louis at Florida tonight. Here's how you adjust numbers. When you're making your numbers, you have to have, adjustments and tangibles to move these games around and move the number. First of all, St. Louis played last night. They're playing back-to-back. That's worth 25 cents. I made the game 211. So if you add the 25 cents, we're up to 236. And then you look at the streaks, and Florida Panthers have won 3 in a row at home. I'll give them 15 cents for that. 251. You got to believe they know they've won 3 in a row at home. These teams want to go on long winning streaks. Let's put together a 12-game winning streak. That's what these teams want to do. So you have to adjust. I adjust 5 cents for every win that they're on. So I'm at 251. On the screen there, you see minus $3. And the take back plus 250. Well, I made it 251 now after my adjustments. There's no edge there. So what that does is it takes me off of even thinking about betting the Blues because I adjusted the number from the back-to-back situation for St. Louis and the Florida Panthers 3-game winning streak at home. Any adjustments on the total? Yeah. St. Louis has gone under 4 straight games. We have this total 6 under 17, and it's 5.5 over 15. I'm not going to bet it over when one of the teams is on an under streak. So scratch that. No play for us there. Toronto against Buffalo today. Really close numbers here. Our numbers have Toronto $1.59. But you need to adjust that because the Buffalo Sabres have lost 11 in a row. 11 straight. 7 of those have been at home during the losing streak. So I'm just going to take the 11-game losing streak and times it by 5 cents for each loss, 55 cents, and add it to my minus 159 and make this game 214. Toronto 214 right now at the South Point, $1.55. Toronto open 160. A little bit of money for Buffalo. It's surprising. Don't know who wants to jump in front of that train right now the way they're playing. So I'm going to lay the $1.55 with Toronto, probably a 0.5%, and I'll do another 0.5% on the puck line and lay the puck and a half for Toronto in this game. So kind of basically laying minus 1 goal in the game. They win by 1, you break even. And moving on to the next game, Carolina and Washington. I have Washington $1.18, have them the favorite in the game. Carolina opened $1.35, has been bet up to $1.50. Hurricanes up to $1.50. They've lost 4 in a row on the road. Amazing. 4 in a row. We still have the Capitals the favorite. I'm going to add 20 cents to that, make that $1.38. Alex White, my daughter, said to me this morning, beware of that Washington total that we have 6.5 under 22. And it's 6 under, and it looks like that's a play. She says, I don't like it. Well, Carolina's gone under 4 straight, and Washington's gone under the last 2. So you kind of make a 30-cent adjustment there, and if you do, you're basically looking at a 6 for the game. But I like the Capitals here. They've played well. They went on a nice winning streak at home. They have lost 2 in a row, but Carolina's lost 4 straight road games. 4 straight on the road. Washington Capitals for me, plus the price, and at the South Point you can get plus $1.30. Montreal at Detroit. We've got Detroit $1.64, 6 over a quarter. 3-game losing streak for Montreal on the road. Can up that to $1.79 with Detroit. And you're looking at $1.50 at the South Point. That's probably the lowest number. This game has gone up. It opened $1.45 at Circa. Is $1.47 right now there, and that's the lowest number on the board. I'm going to say the market number is more about $1.53 to $1.55 in that range. So $1.50, land $1.50 at South Point's not bad. Detroit minus $1.50 against Montreal, who's really struggled. As of late. Utah at Minnesota tonight. We have Minnesota $1.52, 5.5 over 23. Looks like an underplay. This total 6 under at the South Point, out 6 under 15. I see some 6 flats out there too. Utah, the hockey club, on a 3-game winning streak and a 6-game road winning streak. So I got to adjust that 30 cents. I have you again, Minnesota $1.52 with the 30-cent adjustment down to $1.22. They're $1.25. So sometimes you make those adjustments. It gives you a play. Sometimes you make it. It takes you off a play and puts the number right on where the number is supposed to be. That total, though, looking at going under 6. Under 6, a 1% play. Again, very conservative this time of year. Every sport. This is the Friday before Christmas. There's going to be parties tonight, parties Saturday night, parties Sunday night. You know there's parties on Christmas Eve, on Tuesday. Monday may not be the only night there may not be parties. So that does affect the routine. And it could affect the routine more of the home teams than it does the road teams. So I hope that's not the case. I've got 2 of them tonight, Washington and Detroit. We'll see. But the results have been very, very erratic the last week and a half because of all of this. In the colleges, it's the exams. In the pros, it's the Christmas parties, the holiday parties. Dallas, the Rangers at the Stars, is a game that could be a Stanley Cup preview. I mean, these 2 teams are that good that they could get there. The Rangers haven't played like it, but I think they're a really good hockey team. They've just struggled. We have the Stars 162, but the Rangers are on a 3-game losing streak. Make that adjustment of 15 cents, make the Stars $1.77. Our total 5.5 over 15. And we're looking at 6 under a quarter. Actually, at the South Point right now, 6 flat. And I see 6 flat everywhere. I'm going to go under 6 with the Rangers and Stars. It's Shesterkin versus Ottinger, 2 of the best goalies in the NHL going head-to-head. The Rangers have gone under 4 straight road games. So the streak is our friend. And rounding it out, Colorado and Anaheim. Colorado 211. We have the number at the South Point, minus 240. They're playing back-to-back, the Avalanche are. Not traveling, though, so that helps. Our total 6.5 under 30. It is 6 over 20. There's no real difference there. I'm going to pass that. The side is right on. There's no streaks for either team. That game's no bet. So four bets in the NHL tonight. Washington Capitals. Oh, I guess I missed one. I didn't circle it up. Toronto. All these will be 1%. Toronto for 1%. Washington Capitals 1%. Detroit 1%. Minnesota under 6. And Dallas under 6. So, again, manage your money. This is the time of year you got to be very, very conservative. You're not trying to make money for Christmas. You're trying to save money. Don't go crazy. The results have been up and down. We got a request for a game in the NFL. Philadelphia at Washington. I said I would cover that, and I will. The Eagles on a long winning streak now, 10 in a row, 12-2 on the year. Their defenses continue to get better and better and better as the year goes. I'm going to look and get my team ranks for these two. Philadelphia Eagles, I have the 6th best offense, 2nd best defense, and they're the number 2 team overall for me in my rankings, a 108.5. They performed to a 111.5. 111.5 performance rating. Now, they are coming off a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 27-13. That's their biggest rival. And they've beaten the Washington Commanders already. They have a 3-game lead with 3 to go over the Washington Commanders. They have comfort zone for the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Made the Eagles my number 3.5 for the Eagles and 48.5. At the South Point, you'll see that's what Philadelphia is, 3.5, 45.5. So total a little bit lower than what I have. The Eagles have been an under team this year, 9-5 to the under. They're 4-3 under on the road. That makes Nick Sirianni now 20-14 under in his road game since he's been the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's enough to keep me off. And it's not a big enough difference for me to bet the game in the first place. So there you take a look at Philadelphia, 9-5 ATS this year. Again, they beat Pittsburgh last week. Odds to win the championship plus 450. It's a good football team. My 2nd best team in the NFL. They really have a solid offense, really good offensive line still, and their defense has really stepped up. I didn't think this team had a defense to begin the year, but they've really put things together. On median, they allow just 17.8 points per game. They score 26.5, so outscoring their opponent by 8 a game. The Washington Commanders, 26.5 points per game, and they allow 20.5. Those are median numbers. And then let me give you my rankings for the Commanders. Ninth on offense, surprisingly. Number 1 on defense, 8th overall. Their defense has been great. 111, where's my rating? 103.5. I didn't expect this team to be this good. I should have, though. I should have realized. I really loved Dan Quinn when he was with the Falcons. When I'm watching a coach, I watch his demeanor, and then I want to see what type of decisions he makes. I thought he did a good job in Atlanta. I just don't think he had the players. He was 43-42. Was fired. Was the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator the last 3 years, and he gets the job at Washington. So when he comes in as a first-year head coach, he's really coming in as the guy that has head coaching experience and knows exactly what he wants to do from the get-go. He knows exactly what he needs to do from the get-go. That's really big in these circumstances with coaches in the NFL these days. So second time around, Dan Quinn may look like Bill Belichick. Who knows? His quarterback, Jalen Daniels, has had a really good year. Looking at some numbers for Washington, 8-6-1 ATS. They're 9-5 on the year. Again, 3 games out. Let me look real quick here and see the standings. They have yet to clinch. The Eagles have clinched. The Eagles are number 2 right now. Actually, they're tied with Detroit. Detroit wins the tiebreaker on best winning percentage in conference games right now. So Philadelphia, that's very important. They want a bye. They want the bye. So you're getting a great effort out of the Eagles. They're not letting down just because they play Pittsburgh. So we know that. The Commanders are number 7, 1 game ahead of the Seattle Seahawks. Remember, 7 teams go to the playoffs. Washington's in right now if the playoffs started today, but they're only 1 game ahead of Seattle. It's a big game for both teams. Again, I have number 1 and number 2 defenses in the NFL right now, and I made the total 48.5. That's because of the offenses and how good these offenses are. So I'm passing for you. Sorry, I wish I could give you a play, but my numbers are very, very close in this football game. So I could look to go over depending how the weather is. If it's really nice and it starts out slow, I expect these teams to maybe pick up the play a little bit in the second half to score some points. And it's a game that both teams need. The Eagles don't need it, but they'd love to have it because they want that bye. Who wouldn't want that bye? The only team to get a bye out of 7 going to the playoffs from your conference, that's big. So big game for them. Washington, obviously, at number 7. They're not locked in. 3 games to go. They need to win 2 of their last 3, probably for sure, to lock it up. So I think you could see this game start slow. The first game, 26-18, Philadelphia, 26-18. They won the turnover battle by 1. The game went under the total. So that's pretty much it for me today. I gave you a cover. Let's cover college basketball. I know I've already bet a couple games. One game about to start 30 minutes from now, Valpo and Western Michigan. Covered that on my show, Bet the Gambit. My line, Valpo 1 and 159. And at the South Point right now, Western Michigan's up to 2.5. Total 153. There's been money for the over. I talked about this game on my show being an overplay. I went back and looked at both teams. They both played some very high-scoring games, especially against teams that want to push the pace. Valpo is running. Both teams have better offenses than they do defensively. So all the numbers added up to a very solid overplay this morning. That's a 10 a.m. game Pacific. Ryder and Penn, I'm going to look at that game real quick because I have an under on this game, and I think it matches up well. This game starts at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I made Pennsylvania 5 and 122.5. And the current number on the board is 135.5. Both teams, very slow, methodical pace. Both teams. Both teams well below average offensively. Can't really brag about the defenses. It's not there. They just don't play that great a defense, especially Penn. But at a slow pace and poor shooting teams in a game that figures to feel very close. Again, I made it 122.5. I'm going to go under this total went up. Well, surprising. I just looked at the board. Sean's got 135.5, and he is right. There was some money for the over there. I'm really surprised that that's been bet up. I'll go under the 135.5. Thank you very much. Again, only a 1% play, though. I'm not betting any more than that on these games. Too many unpredictable things. St. John's and Providence, I got a very low total at 127. It's 143 in the market. St. John's loves to run, though. This is Rick Pitino. They're scoring 83 points per game. But their defense has been really good. And Providence defense is better than their offense. And Providence has played slow. Both teams have been solid defensively, forcing the opponent deeper into the shot clock that they want to. So being at home with Providence, I just don't think they're going to allow St. John's to run. They're 7-5 to the under this year, Providence is. So I lean to that under. My numbers say it's a big under. I don't think it's as big of under as my numbers say, but I will go under 143 in that game for one play, for 1%. North Texas hosting App State. On my sheet, I do a color coordination with their pace and their defensive pace and their offensive and defensive stuff. Blue means overs, red means under. And North Texas and App State, they're almost red across the board in all categories. Scoring, App State 64 a game, they allow 66. North Texas only allows 58 points per game. App State allows 68. Both teams are very, very slow. They are in the bottom 15, both of them, in pace, pushing the basketball on offense. They do not run. They're very methodical. They run through their offense. Both take about 20 seconds each time they have the basketball. This will be one of the slower games played this year. I could expect maybe 60 possessions in this basketball game. And you've got an App State team that's really weak offensively, but again, they play solid defense. And then North Texas, top 25 defense with an average offensive team. So love that total. It's at 123.5 right now. I'm under there. I got a bad number. I went under 123, 123.5 now, but the pace will be very slow in that game. Only a couple more games, neutral court games, Cincinnati and Dayton. They're playing in Cincinnati. It's just not at the university. And I made them 2.5 without giving any home. We should give some home on that game. Probably at least 3 points. They'll have a great crowd. Probably make this about 5.5. It is 3. I'm going to take a look. Let me look real quick and see what these two did last year against each other. That's very important. Maybe Cincinnati has revenge. Maybe they lost last year's game. That would be big for us if we were going to bet this game. This is Wes Miller against Dayton. They lost last year, 82-68. They got blown out last year, 82-68. The year before that, Dayton, I don't see the game. Feel like they should play every year. They did not play in 2023. And one more shot at 20. Nope, they didn't play. So they played last year, though. Dayton won the game. There is a revenge factor for Cincinnati here. This game down to 3. I'll lay the 3 with Cincinnati. I think they're well coached. Let me look at some my numbers. Really solid defense. A very solid defense. One of the best in the country. They allow 59.6 points per game while they score 80. And Wes Miller is a really good head coach. Anthony Grant is as well for Dayton. He's a very good head coach. Cincinnati 7-2 under this year. Only 3-6 ATS, and Dayton is 9-3 ATS. And that's why we're probably getting a cheaper number. But I think we got a better basketball team. They're playing in Cincinnati. They will have the crowd. They're just not playing in their home gym. And the revenge factor. So mark me down, Cincinnati minus the 3. Akron plays Yale. This game is in Texas, El Paso. UTEP's tournament. They'll host that. I have Yale 5.5 and 170. The total in this game much lower, 153. That game went down, I believe. I believe there was under money there. 156. Yeah, it has gone down from 156 down to 153. Even without even looking, I'm sure I'm going to tell you I like it over. I look at my sheet and it's all blue. It's all in blue. Both coaches have been there a while. John Groschi is 7 years at Akron. James Jones, 25 years at Yale. Akron averages 82 a game and they allow 81. That's 163. Yale scores 78.6 and they allow 72. That's 150.5. Akron plays extremely fast. Yale, average. They don't run. They'll run through their offense. They're not going to be, at a quick pace, but Akron does. So I like to take a look at Yale, and this will be the last one I look at. The next game, UTEP's hosting Jackson State. Hard read on that. Let me see if I had a big difference in my number. 15 and 13, I'm doing 2 games on you at once, Sean. But there's nothing on that last game. So there's the number on the board. UTEP 15, 139.5. I have 15 and 142. Nothing to write home about. But I want to go back to that Yale game. And I want to see what Yale has done when they played somebody that plays at an up-tempo pace like Akron does. And it's good they played 3 teams that play that kind of pace. One, they opened up the year against Quinnipiac, who cannot score, and the game came 150. They did play Illinois Chicago, another team who plays at a little faster than average pace. That game came 170. Then they played some slow teams. Then they faced Delaware, and the game came at 194. And then they played Rhode Island, who's another good, fast team that can score, and then it came 162. Akron is one of the best offensive teams they played this year, the second best. The best offensive team they played was Purdue, who plays slow, and it came 176. I have no idea why this total is 153. Love it, over 153. Akron and Yale, over. So there you go. Quite a few plays for me in college basketball. Western Michigan over, Pennsylvania under, Providence under, North Texas under, Cincinnati minus the 3, and Yale over 53. So that's it for me, folks. I'll be back Monday with Alex White at Sports by the Book. Alex and I will be on at 9 a.m. for you. Don't forget all the other great shows at the South Point. Football Frenzy today, 2 to 4. Jeff Parles will be with Chris and Vinny. Great show, 2 hours of college football. They're going to talk a lot about the college football playoff. And then every Saturday morning at 8 a.m., it's Jeff Parles and Alex White. Sunday morning at 9 a.m., Jeff Parles and Alex White. Don't forget Race Day, Las Vegas, Ralph Sirocco. Wednesday to Sunday at 7 a.m. Punchlines every day, Monday through Friday at noon. Please like and subscribe. And have a great weekend. That's your marching orders now. Have a great weekend and make sure you manage your money right. Hope you got a lot of winners in your pocket. So best of luck, folks. Have a great day.